Thank you. Our topic of the presentation is the impact of fiscal incentives on the development of IPR industry in Albania. Given the fact that the fashion industry over the years has developed and occupies an important part in the gross domestic product of our country, we have chosen in this study to focus on analyzing the financial performance of these businesses subject of inward processing regime and in the impact of fiscal and customs incentives provided by the Albanian government and what effect they have had on this sector. The main question of our topic is what has been the impact of fiscal and custom facilities on the development of the IPR industry, which has led to sub-questions: how the financial performance indicators of the IPR industry have been over the years, what are the strategic facilities offered by the Albanian state for investing in the IPR industry, what are the tax factors and strategies that promote investment in the IPR industry, what are the issues that need attention from the Albanian government for further development of this industry. As other studies, our study has also some limitations. One of them is that the data collected for conducting the study were obtained from a small number of businesses compared to the total number of businesses in this industry in our country, due to the difficulties for collecting them. Another limitation is the fact that our study period includes the period affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which means that the data collected for this period are influenced by external factors that have led to out-of-trend results for this industry. In theory, the active processing regime, or otherwise IPR, is about importing raw material without tax barrier and exporting the final product after it has been processed. There are two ways of implementing IPR. The first one is conditional exemption method, and the second one is the reimbursement method. We will now give a panorama of two of the most important sectors of this industry in Albania: the leather and footwear sector and the textile and clothing sector. The textile and clothing sector has an ownership structure of 79.5% Albanian, 16.5% joint ownership, and only 3.5% foreign. The total number of active companies is 684, with a general employment of 57,330 employees and an average monthly wage around 270 euros. This sector has a weight in exports of 38% and has a geographical distribution in the main cities of our country. There are two forms of operation for this sector. The first one is order production with one or several processes, and the second one is closed cycle production. The other sector, footwear and leather industry, has a total number of active companies 245, with a total number of employees 25,600, and with a weight on exports of 20%. There are some advantages that Albania offers for the development of IPR industry: geographic position, stable economy, low labor costs, skilled professionals, fiscal incentives and competitive tax levels, low transport cost, government supported policy, consolidated legal framework. To achieve the objectives and purposes of this paper, the methodology used is based on the research of secondary data and primary data. The primary data were obtained from the questionnaire designed for the IPR businesses and directed to them in different regions of Albania, as well as financial data collected by financial statements of this company. The total number of companies taken into study is 150 companies that are from three different sectors. 50.8% of them are from textile and clothing sector, 39.5% from footwear and leather sector, and 9.7% from metal construction. The ownership of the companies taken into study is 58.2% Albania, 60.4% foreign, and 25.4% joint ownership. The legal form is mostly 97.3% limited liability companies and 2.7% joint stock companies. Regarding the age of the companies, it varies from 3 to 28 years, with an average age of 11.04 years. The geographical distribution of the companies taken into study has a variety into the main cities of Albania, with the biggest number in the capital city of Albania, Tirana, with 49%. Regarding the number of employees in the companies surveyed, the highest average number of employees is found in the footwear and leather sector, respectively with 634 employees, followed by the textile and clothing sector with an average number of 178 employees, and then the metal construction sector with an average number of 36 employees. In the table, we can also see the minimum and maximum number of employees for each sector, from where we see companies with a minimum number of 5 employees, which may be companies that are on the verge of closure due to the crisis that the business went through as a result of COVID-19, while there are companies with a maximum number of 3,574 employees. For the realization of the financial performance analysis, information was obtained for a period of 4 years, starting from 2017 to 2020, regarding some specific components of the financial statements, issuing an average for the companies taken into study. If we look at the financial performance of the company surveyed, the liquidity ratio indicator has decreased from 4.2 in 2017 to 2.56 in 2020 as the result of the increase in the level of short-term liabilities almost to twice from 2017 to 2020. However, despite this decrease, a liquidity ratio indicator greater than 1 reflects a relatively healthy situation in terms of liability, which means that the firm owns sufficient short-term assets to cover its short-term liabilities. If we focus on the analysis of the long-term debt ratio indicator over the study period, we will see that this indicator has decreased from 13.7% in 2016 to 4.23% in 2019. Based on the data obtained from the financial statement of the company surveyed, results a large number of firms with a zero long-term debt level. This can come from various reasons, such as tightening lending terms or reluctance on the part of companies not to meet these terms. In this way, the sources of financing for the firms are limited and their further development is hindered. In terms of profit margin, this ratio has decreased from 13.5% in 2017 to 11.6% in 2020. This level has come as a result of increasing the level of sales to a higher percentage than the increase in the level of net profit. Regarding ROA, it has decreased during the first 3 years of study from 10.88% in 2017 to 8.97% in 2020, while in the last year it has decreased to 9.52%. The reason for this declining result has been the increase in the value of total assets over the years. While in terms of return on equity, this indicator has decreased during the study period from 43.85% in 2017 to 38.36% in 2020. One reason for this decrease is the increase in the level of equity. The analysis of the data shows that the increase in equity is greater than the increase in level of net income. Regarding financing forms, 44.3% of companies have expressed to receive loans from banking institutions. 1.6% have received loans from microfinance institution, and 54.1% have expressed to use their funds for fulfilling the business activity. As for the fact how difficult it is for these companies to secure the necessary financial funds, 36.2% of them stated that they find it difficult or very difficult to secure funds. 39.5% said that they had natural or normal difficulty to find these funds, and 24.3% say that the degree of difficulty in securing funding for them was easy or very easy. Another important issue is the exchange rate. Based on the answers received from the questionnaire, 98.2% of firms stated that most of the contracts are performed in foreign currency, which means that most of them are exposed to exchange rate risk, and 92.3% of them agree or strongly agree that the firm has suffered losses from exchange rate changes. One of the most worrying issues for the businesses is the increase of the profit tax rate to a level of 50% from the previous 10% it has been. So it has increased by 50% of the mass. From the data collected from the questionnaire, it results that 97.
Excuse me. Can you finish in 3 minutes?
Okay, then I'm passing at the conclusion section. Okay, as we could see, the IPR sector in Albania, which has flourished and developed over the years, is run by very successful companies in the textile and footwear industry, but not only. Having this excellent experience and skilled workforce, Albania offers great potential to diversify its economy. Low labor costs increase the demand of investors to invest in the tailoring market in Albania. Sales are predictable due to the fact that fashions are businesses that produce with the aim of exporting to foreign markets in fulfillment of concluded contracts. The approval of the law on VAT refund has enabled the fashion sector an increase in liquidity by about 900 million lek from the creditable VAT. The new customs code has enabled the subject to facilitate tax procedures, reduce the time spent and the opportunity for declaration and control even after the end of official hours. As we saw in the answer received from the questionnaire, a large number of businesses expressed positively about the importance of the frequency of change of fiscal legislation. Frequent changes in the fiscal legislation make the country unstable and not at all attractive to investors in terms of taxation. A considerable part of the businesses have expressed their agreement with the importance of exchange rates, given that most of the contracts they enter into are with foreign clients, and large part of them state that firms are not protected by exchange rate. Some recommendations that we give for this industry. Financial resources continue to be an important factor for the performance of businesses in the fashion sector. These companies should not rely on a single resource, such as the income from their investment activity, but should look for different alternatives to provide the necessary capital. A good alternative in our country remain loans from lending institutions. Borrowing complexes need to be overcome by company executives. With careful capital budgeting analysis, they can be successful in their decisions despite the still high lending rates offered by banks. So as long as they have serious alternatives for the growth of their businesses, they should not be restrained due to lack of funds, but should make every effort to secure them. Another issue of concern for the fashion industry in our country is the direct confrontation they have with the exchange rate risk. So we think that measures should be taken to start offering protective instruments in our country, for example, future contracts, or applying different operational protection techniques such as reconciling flows with outflows in the same currency, etc. Another problem encountered during the development of this questionnaire is the non-implementation of the law and clientelistic favors, an issue that is quite important, which deserves attention from the state and taken adequate measures to increase law enforcement and reduce clientelistic favor. Finally, a profit tax of 50% is considered high for the businesses under study, so the government should consider revising this rate. Thank you.